Today, I'm going to share with you a framework that'll take your prompting to the next level. 6 steps. I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll be a prompting pro. You're not only going to learn how to save tokens, but you're going to make your projects a lot more efficient, and you'll be the talk around a water cooler. I'm not telling you something I learned, something I heard. I'm telling you something that I used, right? That I actually put into production, because sometimes there's a difference between what you learn and what you implement. So let's dive right into it. I'm calling this the prompt engineering framework, right? And the summary, if I had to put it in one sentence, the more specific you are, the better the output. Now, let me take a step back and talk to you a little bit about AI. AI is phenomenal. It is very intelligent, but it's a lot like a kid, and you have to be very specific with what you want it to do by giving it context, telling it what the role is, giving it some examples, right? And some constraints about certain things that you don't want it to do. So let me give you an example and tell you what I'm talking about. Now, when I first started prompting, when I first started using AI, I started off with Gemini, and I was very vague with my questions or with my prompts per se. I would ask it things that it had no direction. And I'm gonna give you an example using making up my bed. So let's say if I wanted AI to make my bed up, this is me talking to the bot, and I say, hey, bot, make my bed. Well, with a vague prompt like that, it may end up putting the covers on the end of the floor. It may flip the mattress upside down. It may even knock the pillows off the bed. So what I've learned how to do in practice is I'm very specific. I would say, instead of saying make my bed here in this area, I would say specific prompt. Tuck in the sheets, stack the pillows, fold the blanket at the foot. Done right every time. Why is this important? Well, if you're dealing in the enterprise or even in the mid-level company, or even if you're working on your own projects, because I pay for all of my pro subscriptions. So speaking from experience, the last thing I want to do is waste tokens on different iterations that I could have included in the first prompt. And by me being specific and telling it exactly what I wanted to do, that cuts out a lot of back and forth. Let me show you what I mean. Step one, right? You want to define the role. You want to tell AI specifically who are you, who is AI acting as, right? So here's the question that you can ask yourself in step one. What is the role? Who should AI act as? Set the expertise and a perspective. I'm going to give you an example as if I am wanting to create a, let's say, SOC 2 readiness roadmap. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll say, act as a cyber security compliance consultant, helping a small fintech startup prepare for their first security audit. Okay, very clear. I've told AI, who are you, what level of expertise you have, and then I go to step two, which is the context. So this is, I'm telling it what is the situation, what's the project, what stage we in, what's already done, all right? And here's the example that I'm using for that. The company is a 12-person payment processing startup. They have basic privacy policies, but no formal security controls documented. Their first enterprise client just requested a SOC 2 report. Okay, so you've already, 9 times out of 10, you've already put this prompt with just the first two steps in the top percentile of what most AI agents are receiving on a daily basis. Then I go down to the task, step three. What specifically do you need? Okay, do you need something to be built, review something, explain it, draft, analyze? You're going to say what the task is. Create a 90-day SOC 2 readiness roadmap. Break it into 3 phases. I want the gap assessment, the control implementation, and the evidence collection. And here's one of the most important parts. Step 4, the constraints. You want to let your AI know what to avoid, what's off limits, right? If you're on your, let's say if you're on your workstation for your corporate job, you may want to exclude any IP information that's located locally, right, on your on your workstation. You may want to say, hey, don't include ABC. Whatever that is, you want to tell it what the constraints is. What to avoid? What are the limits, restrictions, off limits, contents, like I just mentioned. So in this example, I would say no legal advice because every every AI is going to tell you anyway, hey, this is not legal advice. This is for informational or educational purposes only. In my example, I'm going to say no legal advice, no vendor recommendations. Keep it under one page. Use plain language. Their CEO is not technical. And then you want to say step 5, you want to give it the format. How do you want the output? Do you want it in code, HTML file, like this HTML file the way actually, if you take a look, this is actually, we are looking at an HTML file. I literally use this same thing to prepare for the video that I'm talking to you guys about right now. Do you want it in code, bullets, document, step by step, right? Here's the example. Return a table with 3 columns, phase, key actions, timeline, then a short paragraph summarizing the biggest risks if they skip phase 1. Okay. And step 6 is optional. Sometimes I have examples that I would include. Let's say if I am asking a question about something, maybe I have a screenshot or a PDF or a JPEG, I may drop it into that particular prompt. But a lot of times I don't necessarily use step 6, and that's why I have it optional, because I explained it so well between step 1 and step 5, I don't necessarily need step 6. But if you have it, it's always good to give it something to reference, especially if you're attempting to clone something. So you want to show what good looks like. Skip this if this is your first attempt, right? So I put this little thing right here. Now, here's an example of, let's say in this particular gap assessment, if I had one that was from another company, or just a dummy type assessment, or what is typically used in the industry, I would include that screenshot in there. All right. So, I love acronyms. So it is, if you can remember, RCTCF. RCTCF. Right? The role, context, the task, constraints, format, and examples. All right. Let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to stroll back up to the second. All right. Now, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to take this framework, put it on a Word doc, and now include that Word doc, a link to the Word doc in the top. I'll pin it to the top to where you can just go and make a copy on Google. And that way you can use this framework and just kind of practice it. And as you're starting to go through your prompts, and what's going to happen is, because I've been using this for my personal projects, and I've been using it for my corporate job as well. And to be candid with you, they love it. Let me give you an example. I was going to end a stretch assignment for the security and trust organization, and I showed some of the tooling that I've been doing around automating the gap assessment process, right? So I'm creating Python automation tools, or developing it using Python, and creating automation tools around ISO 42001, 27017, 27018, for example. And when I showed those my project, and it's on GitHub, I made, you know what, I'll tell you what, I make a video for you guys. I make a video walking you through that project. Is right now, that particular version is open source, so you guys can use it, you can view it. But what this has allowed me to do, it has taken my prompting skills up to such a high of a level, to the point to where my development process is more efficient. I can literally go from concept to first pilot to dang near testing in a matter of a couple of weeks, right? At the most. And I think the biggest thing I want to tell you about prompting, because when I first learned about prompting about a year ago, I thought that there was going to be a lot of standalone jobs for prompt engineers. And what I learned is prompting it is being embedded into a lot of existing roles, right? So what do I mean by that? Let's say, for example, if you are a software engineer is the best example to use, right? They're used to coding by hand, right? Line by line, and that was pretty much their skill set. Well, with AI assisted coding, you don't have to sit there and necessarily code hand by hand, line by line anymore. Junior engineers, a lot of the internships, all of those things have gone away recently because now and I've talked to a lot of managers and a lot of people who are decision makers, and they talk about the skill now is understanding the layers underneath what's being done by the AI assistant coders. What do I mean by that? Well, you still need to debug it. You still need to prompt it correctly, like we just went through right here. And if you use this framework, I promise you, you're going to be head and shoulders above anyone else who don't use something similar like this. Because most people, and like I said, I was guilty of it myself, used whether or not it's Gemini, chatgpt, Claude, any of the different whatever your AI of choice is, whatever platform you use, this works with all of them. I tried it with Microsoft Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, and Claude. I like Claude personally. I have to sneeze for a second. Hold up. Excuse me. Man, sorry. But I use Claude personally. It's my favorite. It's very intuitive, and I like to use Cursor. I haven't used Codex yet, so I don't want to count it out. So all you people who love Codex, listen, don't don't come at me. I'm gonna try it out, right? And I'll compare the two. But typically, once I find a platform that I love, I learn to use it in every aspect of my life. Okay. So my action items are I'm going to make a copy of I'll make a Word doc copy of how you can just take it, copy and paste, practice with it a little bit. I would love to hear your feedback. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you're using something like this, if you have a better way. If this sucks, it doesn't really matter. All feedback is welcome. All right. I'll see y'all in the next video. I hope this was helpful. Peace.